All right, good morning. It is May 19th. This is our first getting ready for Primo NDE session. I suspect that it will evolve as more of us go through this process and we learn from that. But this is an introduction to some of the options that you have as you configure and customize, and some of the decisions that you will need to make as a library, and also how I will be supporting you. So we'll get started, and there's a lot. We're going to be switching back and forth between this slideshow and other content, so I'll try and not get too lost in the tabs. So this is kind of the basic process overview. The very first thing, if you have not done it already, make sure that you have created a test view for NDE. This is linked and will send you to instructions for how to create that test view. Just like our other discovery views, it is possible to have multiple, so you can compare different configuration options. But make sure that you do not switch to live before you are ready to switch to live. It will change all of your links, and you cannot change back. So do not. Oh yes, slide share link. Thank you, Jennifer. So the instructions for creating an NDE test view are here on this page, not super complicated. So if you have not done that, that is number one. Number two is to check out some of the new features in NDE. Some of these you may want to just put into your test view, and others you may want to read up about. This is an as yet undeveloped area on this page as we grow, but I'm going to have a new features and a known issues page under this Ex Libris documentation, so that we can keep track of what's happening with NDE with each month's releases. And then I also really encourage you to compare configuration options by viewing other institutions' live environments. And that's what we're going to spend most of today actually doing, is looking at different examples and making sure that our vocabulary and knowledge of the areas is kind of like all on the same page. Also, you want to start promoting the transition and educating your users about the changes that are coming as soon as possible. Again, part of the page that is not quite built out yet, Ex Libris, of course, has provided some branding and their branded kind of info or whatever, but I'll also be coming up with some content that you can just copy from my LibGuide to your own environment if that is helpful. And then 6 is really not an in-order thing. You can do this at any time, but you'll want to request Mixpanel access. And Mixpanel is the new analytics platform for Primo only. It is a user journey analytics platform, and we will have a lot of education around that as we get more into this. So I do have a form so that you can request that access from me. I'm getting all of those set up and activated as we speak. So that's kind of the general overview, which I did show you last week as well. So now we're going to dive into looking at the different areas of configuration and customization. Branding and style. This is something that kind of goes throughout the different pages, obviously, different elements. So I am not going to be showing specific examples, but I will be pointing out examples of branding and style customization as we go through the different examples of landing pages and results pages and search functions. The landing page, many of us have a link to that, and we call it new search. It's kind of been referred to as like homepage previously, but the new vocabulary for that is being used in Ex Libris documentation is landing page. So I'm trying to call it that. So, little introduction here. This is an example from a university that has kept things pretty basic. So you can see very clearly the three kind of top areas of the landing page. The menu bar at the top is called the links menu, and it's pretty easy to add local links, change the order of those links, and change the label of those links. You also have the logo area on the left and the user sign in on the right. Area number 2 at the top of landing page is the homepage background or landing page background. So that is an image, and then this one just has a basic color screen over the top. They have not changed the discovery text of your discovery begins here, but that is possible to change. And then the third area at the top is called landing page links. And these are essentially tiles with an SVG icon and then a text label. And those are possible to configure pretty easily, but you can also customize pretty extensively if you choose. The bottom half of the landing page includes the welcome tile, the announcements tile, and then the about the library section, which is composed of the text box and the image box. It is possible to do some configuration changes to this, but most of the changes that you'll see come from making changes in the HTML in the customization package. So these are the basic areas of the landing page. So now I'm going to show you the different levels of configuration and customization and in some of the live institutions. So here we have the EPA libraries, and what you can see is they have chosen a custom branding color, that kind of like tan, and so that is the screen over their background image. It has also provided the contrast in the different shades from the darkest to the lightest shades in the tiles, and they have used the icons that come kind of out of the box, but they've switched them up, and they've also switched up the labels on the tiles. So pretty basic changes there. The bottom half of their page, they've removed the welcome and announcement sections, but they still have the about the library section. They've changed that text, and they've added a different image. So just an example of real basic changes. Here is another one that I'm kind of calling Basic Plus because it's not much different than what the EPA libraries did. This is from Western Australia. You can see they've changed out the image. They've changed their discovery label, so it just says one search. They've kept many of the icons, but they have added some custom icons there. Like this using magnifying glass is standard, but the rest are kind of new. They've kept the standard tiles, but they've updated the content. So a little bit more extensive than that last example, but not too difficult. Now we start to get into some examples of where more extensive CSS is being used, and there's some more changes in how the tiles are actually configured and sized, how the buttons appear when the page is collapsed. So you can see that their search buttons here collapse underneath, and that they have that rounded button background behind them, so they're not just text, as you can see the advanced search in this one. You can also see they've got custom icons. They've removed sections, but they've also resized, added a lot of content in that main box. Oh, they've changed the background height too, which is something I actually suspect a lot of us will lean toward. I don't know, maybe. So they've made this section with the green gradient not as high as default. This is Nebraska. They have completely customized their tile icons there. They've removed the image from the about box and done some work to make that resized and fill the screen. And you can see they've also added some more significant styling to their Ask Us chat. So you can start to see in some of these customizations where there are some usability and accessibility issues popping up. In this one, I'd like to point out their user sign-in overlaps with their language selection up here in the top right. And it shouldn't happen. So they have done something that's kind of changed that behavior for screen stacking. So, something to think about. Here's another example of kind of that middle level, fix my typo there, from Merced College. So they have changed the image, removed the color screen over it, which has, again, led to some contrast issues with their Ask Anything and advanced search text. So that's something to think about. They are utilizing two different branding colors. So they've got their link text that's in a lighter blue, and then the custom icons, which they've styled to be in a darker blue, which you also see in their links menu up top, and their logo. They've also embedded a video in their about box and done some extra headers in there. And instead of the embedded video being its own div, it's actually in the div of the about box. So that's a bit different. And then this is actually one of my favorites that I've seen. This is from Dakota State, and it's so clean. It's just so, it's just so clean and nice. So they have reduced the number of links tiles, but they've kept the standard tile icons, actually. I was copy and pasting a lot. But they have changed this search height and background, but they've done this nice custom image that's not going to cause contrast readability issues. And then they have removed the welcome and announcement and resized the about box to get rid of that image. So just really clean. Really like this one. Here we're starting to get into some advanced options. University of Rochester School of Music, the Sibley Music Library was one of the early adopters, so they've had quite a lot of time to customize and get feedback. They had this custom image, and to save themselves from contrast issues, they have added that color bar behind the search. So that's a bit of CSS there. They also have some really nice custom icons. And then you can see they've kind of resized their announcements box and added different content, but they've kept the welcome box pretty standard. Here's another example. Again, I really like this one. It's really clean, from the University of Toronto. They've got two different colors, or two branding colors of navy and teal. They've got the custom image with a color screen that's not the navy, to increase the contrast in that advanced search text. They've got custom icons, and then they've added explanation to their tiles. And then this navy at the bottom is in fact their footer. So they've removed all of the other boxes from that page, and they just have those three tiles that link into their LibGuides. So this is a nice one, but it is a little more advanced because of the tile customization there. So that is some examples of the different possibilities for the landing page, and kind of what a basic level of configuration looks like compared to some more extensive customization that happens with HTML, CSS, SVG files, image uploads, etc. And I think our final example here is from the British Library. Theirs is really advanced. So you can see that they've actually moved, removed the logo in the menu and instead done some custom CSS to have it float in the top right corner. So that's actually over the top of their menu bar. They've removed the background image to reduce that height. They've designed some very fancy tile icons, and then they've removed and resized the boxes down at the bottom. So British Library, really, there's a lot going on, even though it looks pretty clean. They also have like this button behind advanced search. I think some of their contrast could be better, personally. And now we've got Miami. So Miami actually has a logo bar above their menu bar. So this is their standard menu bar, pretty easy to configure, but they have added an additional logo menu bar. I hate this red overlay. It's like way too much. They've added a title above their tiles to kind of orient people to what they're looking at. I love this idea of how to use the homepage with the what's being searched, explaining the different facets. I think that's so smart. And then you can see that they have kind of reordered their boxes. So they still have welcome and announcements, but they've completely changed what they title those. And if you go to Miami University in Ohio's site, you can see the content in there. But just a really great way to think about how to use the space on this new homepage. Okay, so now we're going to get into the research page, the research results and filters page. And some of the different areas that are on these pages will look familiar, some less so. So your menu choices are consistent from the landing page to results page. So we see that logo and then links, language, and user sign in at the top. But then we have the search area where you can make some decisions about button styling and labels and color. Number 2 is called the resource filters bar. And this is similar to the V option for research filters that some people have activated right now, but they're kind of like invisible tabs instead of being in the color search bar. Yes, number 4 can go to the left. I'll show you some examples of that. Number 3 are these. This section is called quick filters, and these are the ones that we're used to kind of seeing at the top of our facets under availability, and you can see they are kind of repeated here. They've just not put open access. Number 4 is our facets pane that we're familiar with, and number 5 is the user sign-in pop-up, which you can configure to pop up by default or not, if I'm recalling correctly. But so that's the vocabulary and kind of the areas that we'll be talking about. 30 out of 40 live environments that Bobby and Lori took a look at were using pretty darn basic configuration and styling. So basic goes a long way. You can see that they have put the facet on the left. It is also possible to choose to have that visible by default so that it looks and feels a lot like current Primo. Choices about whether or not to see the material filters and the quick filters and which of those you include are also easily chosen within configuration. And there's really not any extra CSS for style beyond their main root color choice for branding. So yeah, they do have their Ask a Librarian set to be in this bottom right corner. And you can see because they've not done any CSS to change the location of the user sign-in pop-up, that is overlapping. So that's a usability and accessibility issue, something to think about. Dakota State, here they are. Again, they have chosen to not have facets visible by default, and you can see how much more of the page the results take up, those record tiles. They also have snippets and descriptions visible. So you can see on this one, it's just kind of a description of the item, but this one has the snippet of content if it's available. So some very easily choosable configuration choices, examples between these two. Now we're getting into some more advanced CSS. We also, with this example, see how recommended resources and the linked data cards appear in NDE. They have done quite a bit with CSS as far, you've got the buttons up here in white to contrast with their menu bar color. They've got the nice libchat pop-up floating at the top side. They've got the contrast highlight color in the expand results. They've got button colors. Their filters material bar is centered and uses contrast color. And they've got these customized resource type tag icons in the results list. So still, like, it looks, oh yeah, like that's not that much. That's a lot. This is a lot. Here's another example. So you can see another materials filter bar where they've added some color for contrast. This one, it looks like they've done like a float left margin instead of centering. So the alignment gets a little weird. They have moved their sign-in box for users to pop up in the top right corner, which is where that sign-in is in the menu. So kind of like a expected result, and it does not conflict with their chat button that is floating in the bottom right corner. They've also added button styling for their Alma quick links or libkey buttons, which you can see, and this is an example of the stacked button with drop down. There are other options for how those buttons look. Here we have the British Library again. You can see they've changed the page background color so that it's not white with the contrast. Again, think they have some contrast problems here that makes it a little tough usability wise to kind of navigate the page because nothing's really drawing my eye. They've used material filters, they've used quick filters, they've used the filter panes with scopes expanded. They've got help and lib chat floating on the right, but above the bottom corner so that their user login pop-up is not conflicting for space. They've got outlined shadowed buttons. They've changed the user login icon size. So again, a lot going on with the British Library. Okay, so I did kind of speed through that because this is the basics of looking at options. Luckily, Lori and Bobby did a ton to show us examples of different examples. Yeah, that was nice. So I'm going to go through these in just a little bit more detail. So let's go back to Merced here and take a look at how they are using the drop down everything default here for scopes. This is pretty typical, but you can see, I'm going to zoom back in. I zoomed out so I could page snip. So you've got this highlighting and branding here that you'll want to think about how that looks if you're adding anything custom. You can change your labels just like you can currently. The Ask Anything is the new natural language search that pops up and can be used without logging in. They haven't done customization there. Advanced search also pops up. No significant advanced customization here. And again, this is kind of where you can see how far the basic configuration really goes. You can see with their filters, they've chosen to keep the top ones collapsed, but they've moved availability down and had it open by default. So there's that one. Let's look at the a few other search bar examples. Nebraska. Oh, the zooming in I did. Apologies.
It looks like there's a couple questions in the chat, Carly.
So ask anything. Yes. So this search bar area, like if you're going to make it different than your landing page, would be super complicated to do that. Let's just compare really quick back with Merced. Hold on. So we've got this one, advanced, ask anything, field. If we go to theirs, we have advanced, ask anything, field. It's the same. I think we'll find, so they have not activated the natural language search, and we see all field and advanced search. So yeah, looks the same between the two. This one, instead of everything, they've changed the filter to say all. So pretty, basic changes there. This is the standard way color is used. If you choose that branding color, I'm not even sure that this is a color that isn't one of the out of the box colors. And they've just gone with it and added their Nebraska logo and kept the blue. I do think they've potentially done some CSS to create the, to increase the weight of the button text, but I'd have to kind of take a look in more detail. But this is an example of, instead of the stacked quick links and libkey links, this is the side-by-side one. So, and then here's their styled floating libchat on the side, so it does not conflict with the sign-in pop-up. Now, I do want to show one more example of some schools that have gotten rid of the scope. So for basic search, if you aren't currently using scope, it's entirely possible to continue to not using scope. And so then that just goes away and the search field starts directly on the left. Lori does note that some of the colleges that have enabled Ask Anything have changed to provide a little more clarity by saying like AI mode, AI enhanced search, Ask AI Research Assistant, which is kind of nice because that tells students right away that they are going to be engaging with AI. The check for online access is the old label, the standard label, but this is our chance to zhuzh things a little bit. So the no online access here is going to still take us to the record. And because this is a physical item, but it's off site, I think they've got it so it's not displaying the location because it would have to be requested, but it's not being requested electronically. So they've also added in their red to this custom report a problem and whatever box. So that's a little bit of styling there. Oh, see, and now it's saying available at this offsite location. That's okay. Well, it's being weird. I don't know why. Uh, yeah. So let's look into their record. So you've got read more, your requests area, details area. The looking, pretty standard, but it takes up just a lot more of a page than current Primo. Okay, here's an example of that changing the Ask Anything language. AI enhanced search and advanced search. And you can see that let's up this. So you can see how they've made this stack, which kind of fills that space a little bit more nicely. And then it stays the same when it gets small. Whereas these ones start to stack and you actually lose advanced search in the super narrow. And with Dartmouth, you're gonna lose them, but not nearly as weirdly because you're already used to them being stacked. I don't know. It's pretty, but it's a lot of coding. Okay, continuing on. Where did my list go? Okay, sign-in box. So this pop-up sign-in box, let's take a gander at a couple of those. I'm going to close tabs so that I don't get too lost. Okay, I'm going to look at Dakota State and for a default, and we'll look at Miami and just kind of compare in more detail here. They have both added.
In a bit?
Oh, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, keep reminding me because so it's down here at the bottom, but standard wording. And then Miami has it up at the top, also like near this. And it's sticky, and they've changed some of the language. Oh, zoom in. Boop, boop, boop. So why is it moving? What?
Probably for adaptive
There,
technology because
yeah.
zoomed
So,
in.
well, but I think it has to do with like screen width because if you look, like, so I just made it like super wide and it popped back up to the top. But as I narrow it, boop, it just went down. Um, so we
Again,
kind
I
of
think
want
it
to,
may have to do with, if you're on a screen reader on a tablet, not screen reader, on a tablet, on a computer, on a phone, those kinds of things that adapt, it
mhm.
kind of changes based on that width automatically.
Yeah, so we might want to look and see what the default behavior is for that. Oh, and there they've got their little pop-up on a timer. Um, but just their content too. So like Miami has changed the language, and Dakota State has not, but I mean, it's just a different location, right? Like it used to be the bar under search, and we did, some of us have hidden that, um, uh, and now it's this pop up that's also dismissible, but they've made the sign in icon in the menu a user icon, which can be made bigger. Once users signed on, it also turns into their initials. Um, so let's take a look at some of the examples of the resource types bars. So
Hey, Carly, I have a quick question.
yeah,
Must that sign-in box be a pop-out, or can it just remain a static, a link at the top? Do we have to have a pop-out box like we're seeing?
I think you can probably turn it off so it doesn't show up at all, and you can just use the sign in icon up here in
Okay.
the menu. um I haven't. Let's keep an eye out and see if anyone has done it. I think all of them that I'm seeing so far, they're showing up, so we might have to hunt a little more.
Okay, thank you.
um so they have added an ILL request bar here. So that's one thing. They've got this very nice info box, which is, this isn't a linked data box. This is something else. So I'll have to investigate how they've done this, but you can see they've got, 6 different resource types and all 4 quick filters. And with these, when they get narrow, the resource types turn into a drop down. The quick filters turn into a slider. So things to consider. You also have some options for toggling your sort and search functions that get collapsed. Let's look at Miami again. They have fewer. Oh, I've already had that tab open. They have fewer resources and they don't have all 4 of the quick links. So they have disabled open access as a quick link and still have it as availability. And you can see most people are choosing whether they have the default open or not to keep the facet on the left like we're kind of used to. Ooh, so they figured out a creation date selector. Oh no, that's just the new creation date. Okay. Well, one of the things that we have been playing around with is color bars behind um, the filter areas. So content, topic, library, etc. But it's not looking super awesome just yet. Um, and they do have map it, so they've got that little icon. These guys have the stacked libkey link. So that's all quick filters. Here's an example of a school that has disabled the quick filters at the top. So they just have material type, and then what I have learned, and you can see it in this, and I don't know why, but if you disable the quick filters at the top, or like completely, it actually hides them from Facet as well. So if you really don't want quick filters duplicating between where availability and in the filters or in the facets and in the filters, I think your only option is to do what Dakota State has done, which is to keep them up here and remove them from here, but you can't you can't do the other way, if that makes sense. Because if the only way to hide them up at the top is to take them out completely from the facets, or to do some CSS. But again, this is one of those things where you might want to, play around and try some different things, and we'll figure it out. Only a few libraries, 6 out of the 40, are using the facet pane being on the right, and it's probably just to match what their current Primo looks like. We see a lot of closed facets by default, even if the facets pane is open, just because, again, it speeds up the navigation of the page to have these closed as opposed to open to start. I think we're also seeing fewer facets in general get chosen, although, these guys aren't an example of that, just for the navigation aspect of it. It's also possible still to change the language of the facets pane title, back to refine results, tweak results, filter your results, modify results, etc. I know there is information about navigation on mobile and just smaller screens. What's interesting is they knew when they went live that the mobile view was not fully accessible, but the latest release has fixed some of the most serious issues with mobile accessibility of the results page. So they are focusing a lot on getting those additional screen size views all up to the same accessibility standards. So there is this great list, which I will be, sharing out in addition to this slideshow today. Not only have Lori and Bobby kind of done all these examples of different levels of customization with their examples, their observations, but you can also access a list of live environments. We've picked some that we kind of liked that we've already pulled out, but this spreadsheet here is a major one. And you can see, so these are live NDE links. This is from Igloo or Ex Libris. This is not our work. This spreadsheet is not, but here are V, like original V. This is everybody. So like these are not the same lists. And then here are the last people on back office. So yeah, this is from Igloo. It keeps pretty updated, but as more people go live in NDE, they may not always catch up right away. You can see do one of the latest to go live. Very snazzy customization. You've got the bar, you got the image, you got some changed things. We've got embedded widget. We've got all kinds of styling, extra elements, more widgets. Guys, I'm not doing this for you. I love you a lot, but I'm not Duke. It really looks like a web page. Let's see if we can't find like another newy one. Ugh, that red screen. I do not like red. Again, sorry. But so they've got Ask in Your Own Words, powered by AI, the bar, a non-screened image, 3 wide tiles that kind of shrink before they stack, and then the about and sign in. So this one's kind of basic but nice.
Can you look at where it says up at the top on those like Fisher articles, books, and more? Is that scoped in the drop down? Is that scoped then to? Oh, okay. So it's still
it's their label.
Gotcha. No, I'm just thinking Fisher as opposed to, let's say, a different library. I'm thinking of the dual libraries and scoping is what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Because it's, so that's their
Fisher and NAS. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Some good labeling ideas. So that's this one. This URL is in this document. Let me just share this document. Although I'm going to share out a version of this document that doesn't have edit permissions later. But here's another new one. Okay, Rhode Island. Let's check out Rhode Island real quick. And then so they're keeping it simple. We'll do a little look at their results page. Right side. They've got their lib chat floating above sign in. Okay, we got to move on, Carly. 10 minutes. Okay, so going back to these different versions. So you have all these examples from live environments, test environments, these slideshows, which I've screenshotted in case like those libraries end up changing, but you like the thing that you saw. That's a real thing that happens. So also if you really like a thing, screenshot it. And here are some of those questions we talked about last week as far as like thinking about your own library and your team and any changes you do or don't want to make. And so then I've created a survey. Now, before I actually take you to the survey, the purpose of the survey is so that I can help keep track of what level of customization and assistance everybody is thinking of, so that we have some place to kind of keep notes about, choices that are getting made, and so that I can hopefully do some organizing of the cohorts so that we're working together in kind of like similar groups. So I want everyone to have their like first choice of timeline, and I'll do everything I can to keep you, if you have like a real, like obviously if you have like a nope, it's only going to work this time. But I would just really like to be able to group people that would make sense to be working together. So I may approach people after surveys start coming in about, potentially changing up so that you can group with similar institutions. Okay, I'm going to close a bunch of tabs because I don't want all this stuff. So the survey, no, where'd it go? Is here. So it's in several sections, and I actually do have like a spreadsheet of these questions too, so you can print them out and have it to work on before you submit it. I'm just going to go through. So the first section is branding and styling, because that kind of functions throughout both pages, and all of it is going to require a little bit of CSS, a little bit of add-on, a little bit of this. But when I say basic, I expect you need your custom brand done. You need your libchat widget. You need your libkey. That's basic. It is functional. It is branded. Middle is where we kind of get to beyond that. And so for the level of customization, you will see the same wording in each section: basic, middle, and advanced. And then we have the how much help do you need on this part of it. So you may decide that, like results page configuration, that's real easy, not going to need a lot of help with that one, but you really can't do CSS, so you're going to need more help on style and branding. So on the customization help question, you will see the same language for all the sections: minimal help, moderate help, significant help. And then there's a place to just add some additional details. And you can be as specific or general as you'd like. Again, this is just kind of like our spreadsheet to get us going and grouped up. So section 1, branding and styling. Section 2 is landing page. Oh, sorry, I was going to put in screenshots and I haven't exactly completed them yet. So some of the things we've discussed today as far as the configuration that is available basically versus customization, again, basic, middle, advanced, minimal, moderate, significant, places for notes. And then we have our brief results list and the filters and facets areas. And then finally, this is what I was talking with that migration timeline. So I would like to not have, 20 people at the same time. So if you are flexible, I'm happy to have some flexible folks. If you are not, I absolutely understand. And then I do have hey, if you have a top choice out of 3 that you picked. So I hope that it just happens and is balanced and lovely, but we'll see. Jennifer, question.
Yeah, from the workload and go live point of views, is it possible to do, so for example, do prep for, let's say, the cohort 4, like in between cohort 4 and 5, is it possible to do, say, prep in spring of 2027, but not actually go live until September 2027? Can you split it up like that? Or if you prep in a certain quarter, must you go live, the cohort 4 must prep in spring and they must go live in June?
I had not considered that, but that is a good thought, because with summer contracts, that's split. Okay, guys, don't fill this out. I'm gonna split up.
Sorry to put in a wrinkle there, but I'm thinking about a couple of things, summer contracts, but also if all of a sudden you're starting to see a lot of people doing prep at the same time, if it would help you to shift that around. But yeah, I am thinking of summer contracts. Also, our librarians, I would probably need to prep in spring of 27, but I'm not sure that our librarians would want us to go live in a summer quarter. So there's that aspect as well.
Yeah. So yes, love the recall. I'm gonna
Okay, sorry.
I'm gonna split prep and go live. And I may even add a question about, are you already kind of doing pre-prep?
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. So
Okay,
nobody
thank
answer
you.
this yet.
Okay.
Good feedback. Thank you.
Do you want to just us to wait to do the survey until you change it completely, or?
Well, I mean, I should be able to change it pretty quickly. And since this survey also includes, some of this information that you may not have answers to yet,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anyone would be like, oh, I'm ready to fill out this survey today. But I wanted to have it up so that you could take a look at it. But I do want to add some screenshots, some links back to presentation lists, etc. So I will, it's Tuesday. I'll probably have it ready to fill out by the end of this week.
Okay.
So yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. All right. So yeah, so that's why the survey, it's not super, super prescriptive. I know that things are gonna potentially, be in flux, but to start getting some kind of organization and records of what's going on. And then finally, mixed panel, as we discussed last week, the request, the account, which is on this page, and this form won't change, so you can request this whenever if you want to get in there. But I don't know how long Ex Libris is going to take to get everybody activated. They could slow roll me for the next 2 weeks, or they could randomly respond to my support ticket and say it's already done. So be patient, but I will invite you when your environment is ready. So yeah, this presentation kind of covers what I am calling in last week's presentation the pre-prep phase, and gets you ready to become part of a cohort for, real preparation, where we have work sessions, we have full configuration spreadsheet where you're making notes, making, keeping a record of your selections. And big thanks to Bobby. That spreadsheet's based on his work, but didn't want to scare anyone this week. So we're not looking at it just yet. So please keep sending me questions, giving me feedback on the survey, the slideshow. These are going to keep kind of getting adapted and added to. And as much as possible, I will be trying to put the information on this site instead of in a Google folder, so that anyone from your library, you can direct them here so they can take a look at the examples and the resources and the instruction and everything else. So thank you so much. And I'm going to stop the recording.